My guest today is director Shira Piven. We caught up with her at the San Francisco International Film Festival, where her film, Welcome to Me, was screened. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi.
I have a prepared statement.
I want to hear your prepared statement.
Here is my prepared statement. To teach something great and only you were born to do. That's my prepared statement.
To teach something great that only you were born to do. Okay. I like your prepared statement.
That's actually from the film, Oprah Winfrey's dialogue.
Yes. To do something great that only you were born to do. Yes. That's right.
So were you born to do this film?
Oh, I felt like I was, actually. It was a very, when I read the script, I fell in love with the script. And it felt like I had a mission to bring it to screen. And you don't have that feeling very often with scripts. It was just a feeling that that my friend Elliot Lawrence, who wrote the script, had written this very rich, interesting, original world that I wanted people to see, and I wanted to live in that world for I guess, a few years, as we have been.
Is this film inspired in any way by a real character? Because at times it felt that it was based on somebody's personality or character.
Well, Elliot and I have had a lot of conversations about it, and I think it's really more of a composite of people. He does not say that it's based on any one particular person. He actually says that the most he will say is that it comes from him. He sometimes says he feels like it's autobiographical in some ways. And knowing Elliot, I don't see that. He says it with a twinkle in his eye. But I think we all can see ourselves in Alice, honestly. And I think we know people who are Alice. My feeling is we either know people who are Alice, or we ourselves are Alice in some way. And I think we all are somewhere on the spectrum.
So the name of the film is Welcome to Me. And you know, I was reminded of the self-absorbed world that we live in, where we take selfies at the drop of a hat, with our iPhone or Android phone. So in many ways, I was thinking, how did you come up with the title Welcome to Me? And it was brilliant, the way it starts off, with that Oprah Winfrey mantra about how you were born to do something in this world. If 7 billion people were born to do something in this world, how do you find your calling?
How do you find your calling? That's a great question. I guess I've always felt that those of us who are lucky to be able to do what we love, I feel that if we can keep following the thing that we love to do, it usually goes hand in hand with the thing that we are good at doing and that we have to offer the world. So I feel if we can keep listening to our own inner voices, that we can find our calling. I think Alice is doing that. Alice is fantastic because she's a little nuts, and we want to scream, no, don't do it, at many moments in the movie. But we also have to admire her. I think she sort of inspires people in the world that she inhabits. I think she in some ways inspires Gabe, and I think she in some ways inspires Rich, and even her friends who she kind of wrongs. I think there's a way in which Alice just kind of goes for it. She kind of says, she has no filter. She says, I'm going to do what I want to do, and she does sort of feel like it's her calling. She wins the money, and she buys the show, and she doesn't hesitate.
How did you find the right actress for this film?
Kristen she feels inseparable from Alice now to us, and she was our first choice. We felt like, my feeling was that we all, the producers and Elliot Lawrence and I all had lists of wonderful actresses. I really felt that it needed that rare actress who really has a comic center. And there are, as I said, there's few actresses who really start from that naturally comic place, and that's where Kristen lives. She just lives in that funny place. But we also needed an actress who could go to the darker places and has that vulnerability and has that sort of tragic edge to her. And Kristen walks that line in an incredible way.
I have a prepared statement. You knew Kristen because of your husband's association with Saturday Night Live.
Actually, I didn't know her. He knew her a little bit. And I'm trying to think. I think they may have worked together for a minute on something, and I can't remember. She actually did a small cameo in Anchorman 2, but that was after we had cast her in Welcome to Me. But yeah, they run in the same circles, but he was gone from Saturday Night Live by the time she started. They kind of, I think he had like 6 or 7 years on the show. There was like a year in between, and then she had 6 or 7 years on the show. But yes, they did have mutual friends.
How did your background in theater and your parents' background in theater help you in making this film? Were you nervous? Is making a film very different from a stage production?
Yes and no. I really discovered it was my second feature, and I feel like everything that I ever learned in theater I was able to use in making a film. It's still a medium where people perform and is eventually for an audience. And so the creative process I find very similar. But film has more working parts. There are different skills that you need for film in addition to working with actors, which is really my first love. But I love all the other skills that it demands, quite honestly. I didn't know that I would, because I grew up in the theater and I wanted to make films, but I didn't know, but I thought it would be a little bit more grueling than it is. It's grueling, the schedule, all of the decision making, but it's also really creatively exciting. And there's so many different aspects of film that can challenge you and engage you that I really love.
How many days did it take for you to make the film?
25.
And was it shot in Palm Springs or Palm Desert?
We shot about 3 or 4 days in Palm Desert. And if you go to Palm Desert, you find that it really does feel like the world of the film. I wanted the film to have kind of a timeless feel, that we're not really sure what decade we're in. And Palm Desert really has that feeling, like, wait, what year is it? And but we filmed a lot of it on a soundstage in LA too.
The film is also a little bit sad. If there was no humor, you'd come away crying, I think.
Yes. Some people do come away crying, which I like. And Elliot and I have talked about that incredible line between laughter and tears, which is, to me, one of the most delicate feelings that you can evoke in an audience. And when people have that, I find it really, really gratifying. Elliot and I had it when we were watching some of the filming, that when Kristen would go to some of the scary places that she has to go to as Alice, it was hilarious and really heartbreaking at the same time. And I think that it's exciting to be able to hit that nerve for audiences.
Is the film in any way a commentary of current day America, where there are so many people falling in between? You know, we see them every day, but we don't pay attention to them, but yet they have all their dreams and everything.
What do you think? I'm curious. Well, you're asking me. I have to say yes. I mean, that's really what, to me, what I fell in love with about the script, in addition to and alongside the character of Alice. I mean, they're inseparable. The character, I think it's really, our culture is so saturated with selfie TV, selfie, social media. And I think that it's almost a parody of itself. If you watch a lot of these reality TV shows, we're engaged like a soap opera, but we're also kind of laughing. And I think what's so special about the script is it created a fictional world that tells us and helps us turn and look at this crazy culture in a different way, with compassion even. It helps us look at all of the messed up aspects of it, but it also helps us look at it with a little more compassion than we might usually do.
I think you hit the right note. Compassion was the note that I was looking for. I wish we could have spoken longer, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back again with another episode next week. In case you missed any of our shows, you can catch them online on our YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, please feel free to send them to us. And as always, thank you for tuning in.